Hi, everyone. Before all, we would like to thank Lunawood for supporting architects to enhance conceptual possibilities without forgetting the roles materiality play in the construction process in renewing the built environment towards a sustainable chapter. The work of our office is sustained by a three-vector methodology: program, language, and constructive system, none of these in a particular order. During this presentation, we will demonstrate this methodology during the development of Casa. We are going to quickly and strategically explain our intervention. The plot on the outskirts of Guimarães, the city where we are established, was presenting us challenging questions. First of all, when our client appointed us for this project, he only asked for two things: maximum privacy possible, because we are facing a very busy neighborhood, and a house that requires a low maintenance cycles. Now we will see how the urban plan is defined in this particular situation. We must say that all the plots need to face an altimetric issue, differences between 4 to 5 meters, which led in every single case to an embankment wall. The ground level is characterized by a parallel occupation to the access road and the first level counterpoint on its perpendicular axis. This leads to a three-way sunlight orientation. From the very first moment, we realized we had to disrupt the neighborhood building's pre-established rule. Our plot, being the end one, had an even bigger altimetric difference between demanding both sides to be buried on the access level, confining to a two-way sunlight orientation on the lower floor. With all these constraints, we present a rules changing proposal to the council in order to explore more sunlight from every direction. Therefore, as a strategic concept, we define that we will use voids, endogenous and exogenous, to reach the light in every single direction, concerning the circumstances, and at the same time, let them define the kind of relations users can have with the exterior. The endogenous voids will relate us to the external and social activities, and the endogenous ones to the private areas. Basically, the idea was to rotate the imaginary lower volume, keeping the upper volume on its natural and pre-established position. With this option, we guarantee that every single space on both levels were able to get light from every single direction, regardless the time of the day. This rotation of the landing volume defined an embankment wall, allowing the creation of the exogenous voids and a more natural light explosion. As we can see, the voids. For the element above, we defined an enclosed monolithic volume for the exterior, but enhancing its internal connectivity as the referent in endogenous voids. The voids.
The model shows us straight away this idea: a monolithic nest that lands in the embankment walls. That volume suggested us a natural material cladding, organic, heterogeneous, in opposition to the brutal built expression of the embankment wall. The level below should happen in this imaginary boundary between the projection line of the volume above and the embankment wall. Something transparent, permeable, and continuous, allowing the interaction in all social spaces of the house, both interior and exterior ones. The exogenous voids allow these immediate and amplified exterior-interior relations, as well as the natural light in all spaces on their main occupancy cycles. Now we can see some of the referred voids. This is the east one. Since the beginning, we were searching for a gravity tension between the landing volume and the embankment wall sheltering of a winter garden with controlled light. Here we have the north courtyard, fresh, associated to the kitchen, allow us a pleasant sunset light to whom is preparing dinner. Again, we were looking for different sensorial connections. The material's texture and verticality in such a tiny and exiguous space. The level above, more exposed to the surroundings, arise the endogenous voids, more protected and controlled. It was important for us to enhance the interior dynamics resultant of its occupancy and the vertical interaction without allowing the volume enclosure to cause the sense of isolation. From each space of the private area, we can establish a visual connection with the social areas. With the exception of the big void common to bedrooms and office space, with a level between social and private zones, the other private spaces are punctuated with a specific natural light. So we think an architectural exercise searches for a harmony between the constructive system and the architectural language. Throughout the design process, we found a number of dualities, and it is mirrored on other areas. On the constructive system, having the in situ cast concrete, we moved to a portico structure with insulted blockwork. We preferred the external insulation to cover the metal structure profiles implemented in 45 degrees in the opposite sense to the external timber cladding. Also, worth referring, the back panels of the facade painted in black to reinstate the shadow and conceal the constructive elements. The section of the exterior timber cladding had to abide some requisites besides its weathering behavior. One of them was its length. We wanted to make them total length and not a typical wooden floor pattern. We wanted to elude a certain feeling of nest resting on the embankment walls, and for that we also intended to include the fixings as an aesthetic element of the facade.
In the following sequence of pictures, all of them taken in the same day, we can see the camouflage effect that we get from the material when it gets different sunlight. It kind of matches with concrete walls.
At this stage, we double-check our expectations in relation to the timber effect. Its richness in tones in the natural expression of the material with some darker shades than others, like branches and also its nodes. When we picked up a Lunawood sample, we felt the sensation that it was somehow fibered, and that would potentially enhance the effects we intended for the facade in a chromatic mutancy that we were searching for.
Now in this picture and the next one, we will see the Z-shaped profiles that fix the timber in the facade and its natural weathering as part of the expression composition, guaranteeing it a plastic expression. It was really important to us to match this kind of result.
And when we were referring to the fiber aspect of the Lunawood sample, we noticed it in a low beam light pointing upwards with an initial warmer appearance, more yellowish.
We've also wanted these voids to search for light during the day to discreetly reveal the occupancy in the night towards the opaque blocks. Just like this, just like the house was telling us what she's doing. Now we will show a recent photo, 3 years after the installation. The wood is slightly more weathered, but its plastic mutation is all there. The fixing criteria, the solar exposure expression, and of course, its intact dimensions. So at this moment, we can guarantee the first request of our client, or one of the first requests of our client to give him a house with low maintenance cycles. And then at the same time, we understood that bad choices of materials can lead to short maintenance regimes, onerous, and more importantly, unfeature the natural qualities of the materials.
So once again, thank you very much to Lunawood for this amazing journey and collaboration, of course. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.